Hello and welcome to Won't Be Forgetting That, a podcast talking about all of the most awkward and embarrassing moments of people working in the arts and entertainment industry. I'm your podcast host, Seb Muirhead, and today we have a guest. They are a writer, an actor, a director, Luke Goodall.
Thank you so much for having me, Seb.
No, mate, thank you for coming on. I don't know if you have heard any of the most recent podcasts, but I'm actually starting out now complimenting people that come on. Because somebody mentioned a few weeks back, I bring these people on, everyone that I admire their work, I genuinely enjoy what they do and they create, and then I just ask them to exclusively talk about the fucking worst points in their career and the lowest and most shameful points. So I like to start off now by saying something I personally enjoy for each person's work. So for yourself,
thank you very much.
In your comedy group Goodall and Gallagher, The Followers, released...
mid this year, I think.
Mid this year, was it? Yeah, fantastic. All 6 episodes out?
So there's 6 episodes, 5 minutes long, roundabout.
Yeah, no,
on our YouTube channel. Yeah.
Perfect length as well for somebody like myself that can't fucking pay attention to anything.
Absolutely.
So I would say, finish this episode first, but go and check out all of them back to back. Fantastic cast, great writing, very fun as well.
Yeah.
And just really well shot.
Oh, we had a great cast and crew. Like you mentioned the cast before, how it was like basically everyone you knew in Melbourne.
Yeah, literally everyone.
We did get a bunch of our friends in on this, and they were like all went all out. Like we had some crazy scenes about a wellness cult in the bush, and everyone went 100%. And the DP Ryan Bell was just unreal.
Yeah, which is so nice because, like, sure you can shoot all your stuff on your iPhone and stuff like that, which is great for like sketches. But then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch this crap on a shaky iPhone. So when it looks really nice as well, it's such a fucking win.
But the crazy thing for Ryan, this would look shit for his normal stuff because he's like a really good DP, and we're like, hey, so this is a mockumentary, so we kind of want, you can go out of focus here and there. You can be shaky, you can be whatever.
You can get boom shot.
Exactly. If anything, the worse it looks. So we were kind of prepping him to be like, hey, can you do a shit job?
Which is so funny.
And that's what we wanted.
Such a talented DOP as well. Director of photography for anyone that's not quite in the biz. But then like the super high quality work, but then you're like, you could probably actually shoot this on an iPhone if you wanted.
The thing. We actually overcomplicated it now that I'm thinking about it. We're really happy with how it looked. And
fantastic. It's proper fucking weird stuff. I think the first 2 minutes of the first episode, people sunning their buttholes.
All sorts
Spoiler
of stuff.
alert as well. Sorry if you wanted to see that without any of the heads up. But like I won't spoil any of the other stuff. But go and check it out.
It's really nothing to spoil, but it was a fun thing to work on with all our friends. And
right.
Looking forward to maybe seeing where that goes.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Now we've got the compliment out the way.
Absolutely. Now let's
move on to the
shit.
shame, the absolute shame of working in this fucking industry.
What are we doing?
No. I genuinely ask that, like, to myself every single day.
If you haven't asked it, I think you're not doing it right.
I don't know about yourself. I go through maybe a yearly, so like an annual thing of being like, is this the career path that I want? Yeah. Am I wasting my fucking life?
Yep, the existential crisis. How long do they last?
So during like the COVID years, I'd say 98% of the year.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But since we've all, COVID's a little bit less on the forefront of everyone's minds now, I would say a couple of weeks usually. Comes and goes. Depends how low I'm feeling, how many... or I was going to say how many calls I've had from my agent, how many not calls I've had from my agent at the time. Yeah.
You really got to get that phone fixed. There's something wrong with the...
Yeah, I don't think it's the phone, I'm going to be honest with you. Look, I think it's me. But it's getting better now. It's getting better.
Right.
Like we were saying before the podcast started, this is my therapy now, so
yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it helps.
I think it helps you, but I think it also helps everyone that comes on and all the listeners to be like, oh, actually, it's not just me who's been on film shoots where everything goes wrong or
the worst fucking stuff in the world happens, which I'm like, I think having done this for like around about 40 episodes now, the sheer number of times I've heard on massive shoots, so like so much money thrown into these sets and these projects, and you're like, how the fuck did that happen on so and so? You're like, wow, so it's just fucked at every level, which is great to know,
which is unreal, and it's a good expectation to go in with. Because then when something does fuck up, you're like, nah, I expected that.
Yeah, which I think is great as well, because you do go in and you're like, this isn't gonna be like the glamorous thing which I thought it was, just because it's a massive American production with millions of dollars. You're like, oh no, fuck stuff can still happen.
Absolutely.
And will still happen.
And the thing is, these stories, so this is why this podcast is so good, these stories outlast a lot of the projects you work on.
I think I'd
when these stories happen.
rather listen to some of these stories than watch some of those projects, I'll be honest. And
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that about any specific project I've worked on. If NBC is listening,
Absolutely.
Please continue to hire me. But yeah, like a lot of the behind the scenes stories, which is like one of the main reasons I wanted to do this podcast, because I know like you sit around so fucking often on sets waiting for everyone else that's working way harder than you to set up things.
Yeah.
And you just sit around chatting shit with your co-stars and stuff like that, and then everyone's got their fuck stories that they all
Most of
start
their war
sharing.
stories, yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody else has it. Makeup, lighting, like literally every department has it. So I'm like, oh, I should capitalize on this.
Do you have a favorite department on set? You're like, oh, this department always has the most cooked stories.
So it's a couple of different departments.
Right.
So I'm a stunt performer myself as well.
Awesome.
So I love hearing some of the just fucking ridiculous stunt stories that you hear sometimes, because you're like, well, of course they're one of the weirdest departments because they have to do such strange things all the time.
Yeah.
And then hair and makeup. They consistently have the gossip.
They absolutely. They are the D&M of...
And they are so close to every single person they have to make up, like
Absolutely.
so close physically. They're like breathing into your eyeballs at certain points. So there's of course sometimes where they're having to paint a zit off your ass, and you're like, wow, that's, I mean, another day at the office, I suppose. Yeah.
It is crazy how close you get after like one day of shooting with a whole film set.
Yeah, right.
Like you really bond really quickly over some very bizarre things.
Yeah, right. And then you do turn up, like the aforementioned sunning the butthole scene.
Yes.
You're like, you turn up to sets, maybe it's not scripted for the day, and then the lovely creators of the show ask if you can do that. And you're like, yeah, all right. But I always, I don't know why I use accountants as the example all the time, but like imagine going to your accountancy firm and being like, yeah, I'm going to pretend to sum a butthole today, and then probably, I don't know, smash out some taxes.
How can I write this off?
Yeah. Oh, well, technically the performers did, I believe.
They did. That's it.
Lexi Ong, I believe, was one of them as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Friend from the stunt world.
Her butthole was sunned very well.
Yeah, sunburnt, I heard. OH&S was very angry about it.
And we had John as well. So those two were they rocked up and were like, because if they, we offered it to the people who wanted to get more screen time to be on it. And if they weren't going to do it, I mean, I was going to get a robe on and do it myself. Mark and I were probably going to do it with like a wig or something. But they were like, so John and Ari were like, Lexi were like,
yep,
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. She threw herself around for all sorts of fun reasons, as you'll see if you watch the show.
Oh, for sure. More than
Oh.
happy to roll around in the dirt. But I have to say as well, the buttholes were not shown on screen.
No buttholes were shown.
All you beautiful perverts listening, if you want to see buttholes, I'm sure there's other links on the internet which you can find buttholes, but you don't get to see them specifically in that as well.
No, you do not.
But you're turning up to set. Sometimes, like you said the first day, hand in hand with someone else, pretending to sun your butthole. And you're like, well, another day in the office.
It is, and it's that version of like, yeah, all right, I'm keen to have some fun, and like, I suppose obviously there's times where that works.
Yep.
And I think for us, we tried to cultivate a pretty fun, energetic, weird set for everyone to have a bit of fun and play. Sometimes you get on sets and there's some stuff you're like, oh, actually, no, I don't want to do that, and that's totally fine. And
which I think's really, I keep saying this every week, like the inclusion of intimacy coordinators I think is so fucking welcome, because sometimes you will turn up, and it's not really happened to me, but you do hear all the horror stories being like, hey, we were thinking about shooting a topless scene, how'd you feel? And then you're like, yes, okay. And it's just like,
I'm gonna need 6 months in the gym.
Can you just fix CGI now?
Actually,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. What's your VFX budget?
Yeah, nothing. Can I get hair and makeup just to paint some abs on me then, please?
Actually, no, I actually have done this, and this actually happened.
Oh my god, this is the perfect fucking segue then.
And this is actually the shoot of the story that I was going to tell you. But
my God.
I totally blacked out the fact that I am shirtless in one of the scenes.
Yes, so I think that's called repression.
Yes, that's what it is.
I'm so sorry for making you bring that back up. And presumably, and it happens with all of us after this podcast, sit in bed tonight, tossing and turning, and being like, fuck, I can't believe I did that.
I know. I had 2 days to do, like, 40 push-ups.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of our winter. I am pale as all hell.
Oh, tell me about it, yeah.
But,
what was the shoot?
So the shoot it was actually a really fun shoot. It was one of the rare jobs where I was just an actor.
Yeah,
'Cause
nice.
I do writing, I direct, and I don't kind of go for many acting jobs,
Yeah.
but this was one that a friend of mine was producing. He said, you should go for it. I think you'd fit. And it was actually the first time I'd auditioned as a duo. Have you ever done that?
No, I've never.
Yeah, they were looking for like someone with chemistry already, a guy and a girl. So I did it with my friend Susie Kazda, great actor friend of mine who you might know. She was on...
I've worked with Susie on Counter Girls.
Counter Girls, a spin-off of Ross It On. She's a star. She was in The Followers as well.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So we did this audition together and we got this thing. It was like a brand film for Goldfields House, which is this new skyscraper in South Yarra, which is like an office complex. So the idea was actually... kind of showing off South Yarra.
Okay.
As a means to like, come put your building here, come get your office here. So the shoot was cool. We were like, around the 10, up and down Chapel Street,
lovely.
all that kind of stuff. And it was actually a really cool experience just acting.
Yeah,
because like usually I'm just directing and acting, doing a lot of
fucking other jobs, whereas actors can fuck around for a little while in between takes and you get treated really nicely.
It's unreal. Yeah. So a little precursor to the story is... Anyway, so I was shirtless in a sauna scene.
Okay.
Pretty. Yeah. It's fine.
Nothing
it's all
too
good.
full on.
Nothing too full on. It was a wide shot.
Yep.
So it wasn't too bad. But anyway, precursor to the actual story. I'm actually quite short. Now your listeners won't be able to tell.
No, they can tell. I think you come across as short on microphone. I'm joking. But yes.
No. So I'm 5'4".
5'4". Yeah, right.
Susie's about 5'2". But anyway,
Susie 5'2".
So I checked with her yesterday. I'm like, hey, I'm telling this story. Can I say your name? And I'm just telling this particular story. And she gave me her height, so I have her permission.
Okay. So you haven't just outed her now then? Okay.
I haven't outed. She's obviously 5'1", but she said 5'2", because that's what you say. I know.
I'm fucking actors.
So there was a little bit, this is a precursor to me, Susie was off screen, I'm on screen.
Yeah.
Shooting in the street of Toorak Road, Chapel Street.
So
there's people everywhere and whatever.
For anyone that's not in Melbourne as well, that is an incredibly busy street. Like Chapel Street is one of the busiest streets, I would say, probably in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And the most diverse kind of people around there as well, I think is maybe the polite way to say it.
If you do want to check out a bit more about Chapel Street, go to Instagram and go to Icons of Chapel Street.
Oh.
And discretion advised. It's a very interesting Instagram account. Anyway, so there was a point where a few tradies walked past and asked Susie whether because I was wearing a suit, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Asking whether I was a famous jockey.
Oh,
I'm obviously a short dude. I'm not a jockey. I'm not even famous. So they were off. But anyway.
How disappointed
this
were
is
they?
The interesting thing about working in streets is like there are people going past at all times. And there was a moment in the shoot. It was one of our last shots of the day.
Okay.
So I'm going to set the scene. The camera was facing the building, the skyscraper.
Yep.
And then we were across the road from it, facing up. And Susie and I were in front of the camera, almost in front. The skyscraper's in the back. Yep. And I can't remember what I was saying. I was delivering a line like, this is the first office space in 30 years in Chapel Street. Some wanky thing.
Sounds about
I'm
right.
selling my soul, by the way.
Oh, we all have to. I do not blame you whatsoever. I've done jobs like that as well.
What's your number one, like, you probably... What's the line you've said which is the most addy line?
Oh, I think it's... I did a Scotch commercial a little while ago.
Yeah.
And it was like... They wanted me... I sounded like Shrek, essentially. They're like, no, be more Scottish, be more Scottish. Right. And I was like, this is... I can't... Fuck, what was it? It was something like... People used to think traditional Scotch whiskey was like this. And then I'm an idiot. I looked at the comments on whatever fucking platform one of the platforms they posted it on. And like, this guy sounds as Scottish as blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck, I'm getting ripped for being Scottish.
So you're Scottish putting on a Scottish accent.
Yeah, which doesn't sound Scottish. And the whole advert's so anyway.
Hilarious. So anyway, I'm selling myself with this high rise in Chapel Street. And there's a bit of a car drive by and shouts something at us, which is fine.
Classic Chapel Street.
Hey, that happens to me when I'm not filming, so I'm used to it. So that's fine. They go past. We continue the roll the take. Actually, we're rehearsing at that point. Now we're going to do the actual take.
Yeah.
There's a 20 or 30 second little take. And then we start rolling, action.
Yep.
Start hearing the voice again. It's this old lady's voice, like 50-year-old lady's voice.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, cool, I'm not breaking. I'm
Yeah.
just like, cool, I got to get these lines out.
Fucking professional.
I am a professional. And we, call cut because I probably fuck the take up because I'm not professional.
Well, it's because a lady was screaming at you.
Well, that's exactly right. Not because I'm an awful actor. And then I kind of I look to my right and near where we were shooting, there's a little driveway into a car park.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually the Como Centre, which is also where Channel 10 is.
Oh, yep.
So, and this person who had done a drive-by before had now driven into the car park and stopped, and now had her window down. She's shouting at us.
Oh.
And she's saying, "How dare you? How dare you?"
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, everyone's kind of a bit like, is she talking to us?
Look, what did you do?
Everyone's like, what is going on? What has happened? She's like in this old beat up red Toyota.
Okay.
She's like, 50, 60-year-old woman, kind of Byron Bay-esque character.
Okay.
As if she'd driven straight from Byron Bay to Chapel Street. And
just
she was
to shout at you.
Yeah, just to shout at me. Anyway, and the worst thing to do when you've got someone who might be a little unhinged yelling at you is to look them directly in the eyes.
Oh, because they have the engagement and then they're on.
Now we're locked on.
Yeah.
And she's now darting between me and Susie and the crew. And everyone's like, what's happening here? And
Yeah.
now she's out of the car.
Oh, no.
And she's coming towards us. How dare you?
Oh,
How
no.
dare you? And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, this is ridiculous, but this is also quite hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on. But this is also not my shoot. So I'm here to do a job. I'm just like, I got to be professional here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. Just got to keep it calm, keep it cool. And then she comes up to us, bypasses me and Susie, and then gets up in the face of the director and the producer, or the DP. And I'm going to say a word.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's not the politically correct word.
Okay.
But
well, we can have a vote afterwards if this is.
And hey, and I wouldn't say this word.
Yep.
However, in context, I'm going to say what she said just to give it context.
Yep.
And prefacing, I don't think this is the word we should be saying anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But she began to say, "Why the hell? How dare you use midgets to make the building look bigger?"
Oh, no.
Which over and over again. And I was just like, okay, what?
What?
So, first of all, you can't say that anymore.
No.
I think it's I'm not sure what the correct term is.
I believe, and again, I'm with you as well. I don't know. I believe little people is the more commonly accepted term, but please do tell us if we have made a mistake there as well.
Absolutely. And I'm not offended for someone to think that I may or may not be.
Yeah.
That's not fine. But it was just this really crazy thing where it was kind of like she was defending us.
But insulting you?
But insulting me at the same time.
What a power play.
It was insane.
I am so confused to what she thought she was accomplishing there.
Yes.
And then also, like, you do know, like, 6 to 8 inches isn't going to make a skyscraper look any bigger. You're like,
I mean, the maybe a low angle or something. But yeah. So, but the thing is, how did she know? Like, she obviously drove past, saw what was happening, yelled something, and then was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go back around and I'm going to say something. And by the way, her car is still idling in the driveway of this car park to Channel 10.
An incredibly busy car park.
And there's some beeping going on.
Yep.
There's now traffic backing up. I look over, it's Waleed Ali from The Project trying to get into Channel 10. And I'm just like, this is not happening. And he has to drive around this car.
Mr. Ali, can you come and sort this out, please?
Yeah. And it just would have been another day in Chapel Street for him.
For sure,
And it kind of was, for us, it was like, well, you're filming on Chapel Street. This is what's going to happen.
Did she get an answer which made her, not happy, I suppose, but an answer that she was okay with afterwards?
So the director was to me, and Susie was like, let's just walk over here and get her to calm down. And I think the producer might have had some words with her. Whether they were colourful or not, I can't remember.
Unfortunately, that's the producer or the first AD's job as well, as to
which I've had to do before, and it's not
awful.
An easy job.
Awful.
And eventually this lady got back into her car and drove off, doing her good deed for the day.
I mean,
in her mind.
I suppose in your mind, or in her mind, sorry, yeah, she did do the
Yeah.
good deed for the day. She might have ruined everyone else's day and maybe given yourself and Susie some deep emotional scarring as well.
Hey, I know. I'm not a tall dude. It didn't affect me whatsoever. I actually thought it was quite funny, but it definitely ruined the flow, and it took everyone a little bit of time to kind of get back into the flow.
Shaking that energy, I'd imagine.
I actually
as well.
think I did the shirtless scene just after that, which I was not in the right headspace.
No.
And I couldn't imagine if she drove by that scene instead. I don't know how she would have offended me there. It would have been worse. But anyway, that was
How dare you make this sauna look bigger? This sauna's tiny.
it baffles me. Like,
What is...
because she would have to have some kind of knowledge of, like, okay, the camera's facing this way. They're doing something on the... Was she stalking us the whole day? I don't know. It was very bizarre.
I do wonder how many times she drove up and down Chapel Street being like, is this okay? And then another lap around. She's just doing chap laps. Everybody's favourite Saturday night activity.
Absolutely.
Driving up and down Chapel Street. But like to come back and then the urgency of pulling into not into a parking garage, the blocking a parking garage as well.
Yep.
Like that's good on her, maybe? I don't know.
She's a warrior.
She's
out there.
She's out
there right now somewhere.
If this angry Byron Bay lady is out there, please call in now and we can put you straight through to Luke.
Absolutely.
And you can apologise to him. But I hate outdoor shoots on streets because of that reason. You can never expect what is going to happen.
Yep.
And no matter who it is, no matter where you are, the strangest person will approach you as soon as they see a camera.
They can sense it. It's like their spidey sense. They know a few blocks away, like, if I go down this road, I can really fuck with this crew.
I can ruin somebody's day.
Yeah.
I can ruin multiple people's day.
Yeah, exactly.
I once did, this brings up a memory for me now as well. I once did like a photo shoot with this photographer who was wanting to update his website. So it was paid a little bit of money, not too much, but it was in the city.
Yeah.
And he was like, I need some like corporate headshots to show that I am a corporate headshot photographer as well. So he paid, I don't know, probably very little money. I turned up in a suit and he was just taking photos of me standing right up the top of Burke Street on Spring Street in Melbourne. And for anyone that's not too aware of that area, that's probably most famously recently known for the bizarre group of people that love to protest.
Yes, the
vaccines, 5G,
the lockdown protesters that have.
Yeah,
the lockdown finished a few years ago, guys.
But they are after our freedom still.
Yeah.
So this was pre all of that. But you still had a few oddballs hanging around on those steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was just getting my photos taken with this one photographer, and this guy came up to me in such passionate... I don't know what was going on with him. He was a bit of an odd duck himself. And he's like, I need you to go in there and tell them to come out and talk to me. And I'm like, what? And he's like,
what?
Yeah, because...
Wait, so this is Parliament Steps, technically?
Parliament Steps, technically, yes.
And you're in a suit.
And I'm in a suit, so I must be a politician.
You must be a politician.
We're taking photos towards the city, so I've got the city as a backdrop, so you wouldn't know it from the photos.
Yeah.
But we're on Parliament Steps, and I'm in a suit. And this guy's like, go in and tell them they have to come out. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't clock we're on Parliament Steps.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of like, I was just posing. And then this guy just starts talking to me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, go and get them. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, inside. And I'm like, I don't work here. And he's like, why are you here then? And I'm like...
I could ask you the same question.
I know. I was like, why do I need to... What? And then he was really confused at that point as well.
Yeah.
Because I was like, mate, what are you after? And he's like... And so we were both just super caught off guard, and then he wanders away again, and I'm just standing there being like, look, like make eye contact with the photographer, and he's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I guess we're done, back to the photo shoot. And then it's just me being like,
you're in your head now.
I know. And I don't know about yourself, I cannot relax after that. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what's going on here? And
a little rattled.
Yeah, I don't think those photos, I never saw them. I don't think they were usable.
I would love
after
to have seen the photos of like him approaching in the background, like and you can just see the stop motion
like
of him getting closer.
Movie. Yes, that would have been fucking better photos than corporate headshots. Absolutely. Honestly,
yeah.
You
can also do horror film photography.
Yeah, exactly right. You're just a flip book of horror movie.
I mean, but it is the it is the gamble you take when you go into the general public.
The general public, especially when you're not working on like a massive production.
Yeah.
So there's not just PAs essentially standing there
yeah.
stopping people from walking out in front of a moving car or whatever.
There's been those, when some productions have that quote unquote fuck off money where they're like, that person with the whippersnipper, go give him $100 to shut up.
Yeah, and I think $100 is underselling it.
That is absolutely underselling. That's the minimum.
Yeah, like go and pay him to take the rest of the day off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was not one of those productions for me. And I'm going to presume for yourself as well, the old real estate style videos are, I mean, they don't pay poorly, but they're not that kind of money, unfortunately.
It's not kind of fuck off money.
No. And they're always... I mean, the people shooting it are nice, but then they're always just the property developers are there, and they are some
this was
strange people.
This was just crew.
Oh, was it?
This was just crew. We had the whole run of the place.
What a fucking delight.
It was awesome. Yeah, no, it was really cool. So, yeah, there was no, like, client notes, which obviously running a branded content company for a while, you kind of get used to those branded notes.
I'm not surprised, like, having to get used to them, but I still find them rather confronting sometimes when they say them straight to your face, and the producer's like, maybe tell me next time and I'll pass it on to the actor or the talent. And I swear to God, we will get back to your stories. This is just reminding me of another.
This is great.
Real estate shoot. I can't remember. They were selling like a $15 million house and they wanted like a video walkthrough of it. So it was myself and this one other lady whose name I cannot remember. Oh God, that's terrible, Luke. I'll edit this whole story out.
You're cutting your own story out of your own podcast.
Fuck. But we were both there and we just had to pretend like we lived there. And this house, 3 stories, massive garden, looked out onto the Yarra. Beautiful house.
Look, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm not a great actor, but for me to pretend I lived in a $15 million house, I could not play that role.
No, I was so awkward. I didn't want to touch anything in there. He was like, all right, you're in the wine cellar now. They had a wine cellar, of course.
In the house, of course.
Yeah. So you're like, you're in the wine cellar now. I was like, I don't know how to open this door. It was like a specific, because it had to, the wine cellar had its own atmosphere, and I didn't know how to open the atmosphere door. Yeah, exactly.
You bloody idiot.
I know. I'm never invited back to that house again. But so myself and my partner for the day were upstairs in one of the bedrooms, which was just like unit base.
Yeah.
And the real estate agent walks in, just stares at us both, doesn't introduce himself, points to me, goes, "You look like your headshot," and then points to the lady and goes, "You look different from your headshot," and then turns to the producer and is like, "Is that okay?" And I'm just like, wow. Yeah. So
okay,
there's nothing.
This sounds like the brother of the woman who was driving down Chapel Street.
Yeah. So, I mean, real estate agents take
that's a different breed.
However you want. Yeah. But I was like, well, I feel like solely dehumanized, and I need to pretend to be like the kind of person that lives in a $15 million house now.
Yeah.
So that was great. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Really enjoyed that.
I kind of would like to see the headshot, and I'd love to see the comparison.
Yeah,
to be honest,
right?
After that, I'm like, I wonder how different it was.
But it's like,
even though how inappropriate it was.
She showed me her headshot afterwards.
She did?
She looked like her headshot. I mean, everyone looks a little bit better in their headshots, obviously. This was before hair and makeup was done on us too.
Yeah.
So you turn up,
Yeah.
You're not allowed anything on your face. You're tired.
You actually have, in your contract, you have to look shit.
Yeah.
To rock up in baggy clothes, looking like she just got out of bed.
You have to have a coffee stain on either your tracksuit pants or your baggy top.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you're not serious. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
right? You're not a real actor.
She got that's very inappropriate.
I felt so bad for her. And then I think after that, the producer was like, "We'll try and keep you guys separate now." And I was like, "Thank you." Also, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, enough of my trauma. I tell my stories
I love your
sometimes
stories
on this podcast, and I'm like, fuck, I'm meant to be bringing up other people's past traumas, not mine. So you've come with a few other prepared ones
I got
as
a
well.
couple. Yeah, I got a couple. I'm just wondering which ones I should dive into.
So I always like to leave the most salacious story till the end, so we keep all these beautiful perverts listening until the end. So I was wondering if you have a particularly bad one you want to save till then.
They're all salacious, really.
Oh,
no, there's one that isn't, but there's a quick one. They're quite short stories towards the end. So 2 salacious for the price of 1, really.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Fucking
so
bargain.
We can maybe get into the more just me being an idiot and trying to talk my way out of a problem story.
Was this a problem, and we will get into it, of course, was this a problem that arose through any fault of your own?
I'd say yes. I'd say, yeah, I think it was. Yeah. It was a collective fault, I'd
Collective.
say. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at me already shifting blame.
Yeah, I know. No, this was someone.
this wasn't me.
No, I love it when I fuck up and then I'm like, how do I make this look like it wasn't my fuck up and try and fix it without having to be like, I've fucked this, guys. I'm so sorry.
I'm getting much better at putting my hand up and being like, yeah, no, I fucked up.
I know, me
fucked up.
too.
But it does take, it takes a while. It takes a lot of fucking up.
It does, doesn't it? And then
before you get, get used to it.
I think you get to a certain age and you're like, I'm happy just to say I fucked up and move on. I don't want to do this dance for 2 hours pretending like it's maybe not a problem and maybe it was something else that fucked up.
Yeah. And also people are expecting me to fuck up anyway because of the amount of fuck ups somehow. The F word is just coming out. So
no, please
sorry
swear away.
if we have
this
a
podcast
limit.
is explicit, so fucking cunt away if you
Let's
want.
do it. Oof, okay.
But, no more of that M word. Thank you very much.
I know, which, please don't cancel me. I didn't, it wasn't my words.
Cancel Luke. I'll give out his socials afterwards. I'll give out his address if you want to turn up there as well.
Me, for sure.
Yeah, please.
For sure.
But you have to listen till the end.
I got a really good one at the end. I'm going to redeem myself.
Thank God. No, what was our fuck up then?
So you mentioned before I do a bunch of work with a guy called Mark Gallagher.
Yes.
So we have a little duo called Goodall and Gallagher.
Yes.
So we started out doing a lot of comedy skits for YouTube, and then had a few that did quite some good views, and then we had a company reach out to us. It was a restaurant chain.
Oh, fun!
It's just a small, not a gigantic one in Melbourne.
So no La Porchetta?
I wish.
Oh, tell me about it.
If you're listening, La Porchetta. Shout out to La Porchetta.
Call in now. Chicken parmas. It's a thumbs up from me.
Pineapple and pizza.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck yeah. Actually, I'd take that from
what?
Anywhere. Yeah.
I love just a basic.
Any pizza place listening, actually, if you want to give me a pizza free, I would absolutely whore myself out.
A pizza place was the first job I ever worked at.
Oh, was it?
In the place of my hometown of Colac, yeah.
Colac? I've been there
2 hours
before.
southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
beautiful little place.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love the area. It's near the Grattan Rose, near Lawn.
Yeah, it is,
everything else, everything around Colac, fantastic.
It's Colac?
Oh, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. I'm actually heading there today. Anyway.
Oh, are you?
Just a quick side note on that pizza place. You just reminded me.
Yes.
How do I say? If you want your pizza extra crispy, you go to Better Pizza in Colac because the owners burnt the place down when I was working there.
When you were working there?
As a tax dodge. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh, no, I think there's been some prosecutions.
Oh, okay. Well, I redact that allegedly then.
So I quit a week or two before, and I'm starting to sound dodgy. I'm starting to sound really sus.
But they left you the key and some fire lighters, you were saying before the podcast started?
I left some gas. No. Yeah. So I quit, and then the business was not going very well.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I was a part of that problem as well.
Maybe after you quit, they're like, fuck, we can't find anyone else to work in these terrible conditions.
Exactly. It was the kind of joint where I was a 15-year-old working till 3 a.m.
Oh, wow.
As one of those late night pizza places where there's just people come to fight.
Oh,
afterwards.
yeah, great.
So, as a 15-year-old, I'm like, okay, it's going to lock the door till that fight's done. And anyway.
Until the police turn up, and then I suppose I'll reopen for the next fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, it had a good flow of effect. I could really clean up while there was a fight and then get ready for the next
one
batch.
in, one out, fight-wise,
So the business wasn't doing too well, so they called up the local pyromaniac.
Of course. Oh, that's
who
good
then
that there
went
was one.
and burned it down. So I remember I was driving. My mum was driving me to school that day, and we went down the main drag and the billowing smoke. And
oh my God,
I wonder what that is. I'm like, it looks like Better Pizza.
Wait.
Yeah, that's chicken tandoori. That's a half. That's a supreme.
And a fight as well by the smells of things.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And anyway, so obviously the police go to the local pyromaniac.
Yeah.
And then the pyromaniac gives up the owners, and then,
of course,
they maybe got their due diligence. But I don't know how that happened or how it's all shook out. But that was an interesting first job.
Yeah, fuck,
and
that's
it kind
kind
of primed me for the film industry, really.
Yeah,
just a lot of
hey, you'll be working too many hours, probably see a few too many fights, and then somebody might die in a fire.
So anyway, we
a small restaurant chain in Melbourne.
In Melbourne,
for these.
Got us to do some. They wanted us to do some comedy sketches, which were also advertisements. So it was our first or second paid gig.
Yeah,
and they had how much would you want? We're at a moderate budget.
Yeah,
where we could pay ourselves and also pay crew.
Fuck, how nice is that?
This is back like this is many, many years ago, and I'm like, dude, this is easy. This is great. We make videos, people pay us. This is how it works. Great, amazing. So we write a few skits, pizza related, and then we shoot them. We had our crew come in. We're shooting on a new camera.
Nice.
Really nice. The Blackmagic Ursa. It was really cool. Everything's looking pretty good. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And halfway through the day, I go to review the footage on the monitor, and like cool, just bit of playback, and there's a few glitches and drop frames, and I'm like,
okay,
oh, so what's happening here? Is that just the monitor's not working very well? They're like, oh yeah, it's just the monitor, and I'm like, yeah, cool, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, it's not the hard drive that's plugged into the camera and duct taped onto it, is it? No, that's fine. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, sweet. And reset, and we're going again. And didn't think anything else of it.
Oh, no. I don't like where this is going.
Get home. Mark and I, at Mark's place, we start having a look through the footage, and we're like, oh, that one's got a bit of a weird dropped frame thing. That one's got a bit glitchy.
Okay.
So's the other one. Okay. And what about the next one? Oh, it's a bit weird. Okay, go through, siphoning through.
Yep.
Every piece of footage was cooked.
Oh, no.
Beyond repair.
Oh, fuck.
So we've been paid. We've spent a whole day. We've paid a bunch of crew.
Yep.
The camera and the hard drive situation has let us down. Yep. Now, we were like, there is a few things you can do in this situation.
Yep.
One of them would be come clean.
The hardest thing to do would be
one of the hardest things.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other would be like, no, let's just try and edit it.
Okay.
So number 2, let's give number 2 a go.
Yeah.
For start. So we get in, whip open Final Cut, and we're bringing the footage in, and we're because there was like seconds here and there, and we had 3 videos to make.
Okay.
So 3 by a minute and a half. So we're getting in, and we're just like scraping at frames, trying to get stuff happening. And for a good like half an hour, we're like, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, okay.
We're editors.
Okay.
We know what's up.
Fix it in post.
Fix it in post. Did not save us that day.
No.
Shit's fucked.
Yeah.
So,
and all of the footage, every single shot you had was some sort of
in some way
bug,
in
glitch.
disrepair. Yeah.
Fuck.
So it leaves us with option 1.
Yep.
Or option 3.
Oh, now we haven't mentioned an option 3 yet. What would option 3 be?
Option 3 is we call them up.
Okay.
Very well-intentioned call.
Yep.
And telling them how good it's going.
Okay.
They're looking great.
So we're using some of the acting in the real world now.
Exactly.
You've been training for years for this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. No, the clip's looking great.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, they're looking so great.
Okay.
We actually think there might be another 1 or 2 we could shoot.
Oh, nice.
And there's maybe a pickup shot we can get for 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, great.
But would you guys be around next week if we can come in and just shoot one more little thing?
So the client's over the moon. They get even more footage. You're super into it. Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, cool. So now it's gone from we're getting paid.
Yep.
And we could pay ourselves and pay crew.
Oh, fuck.
And now we're like, cool. Now we're not paying ourselves anymore because we have no money left.
Okay, yep.
And now we're going to pay crew again. So now we're now paying money to do our first brand deal.
Okay.
So we're now hiring another crew, and we go in the next week, and
is that a different crew?
We swapped out.
We
swapped the crew out. It's like that scene in The Departed where he's like, "No, we're running with a different crew today." I'm like, I didn't. And by the way, the crew we worked with on that first shoot, great friends of ours. We still love them. But it was just like, you know what? We can't afford them anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it wasn't anyone's fault. It was just a glitch. So cool, new crew, everything. And we go in and we're like, if they're not around, we're just going to shoot the whole thing again.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And we shot the entire thing again. And I was checking the monitor every 10 seconds. Be like, is that a drop frame? Is that a drop frame? No, it's good.
See, so you get burnt once with that kind of stuff, and that's forever seared in your brain afterwards.
It is insane the amount of times I stress out about that stuff. But so in my first brand deal, instead of making money, I actually paid a bunch of my own money to get it done.
So you lost money on your first paid advertisement.
Don't ask me for business advice. I'm not Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm not Tony Robbins.
Yeah. So that sucks. And you find so many losses in this industry, and the small number of wins, you don't even have to fucking hold on to it as well.
But I mean, there was we weaseled our way out of it, and we could have just fronted up in hindsight.
Yep.
But until right now, if they're listening, they had no idea.
Oh my god,
no idea.
You don't have to mention who they are, of course.
No.
But did they ever ask where their extra footage was, or were they?
We shot another one.
Oh, so you shot even more.
So we had the 3. We shot it. We wrote and shot an extra video.
Oh, so not only did you have to do the 3 again, you had to do extra work outside of that as well. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got a fucking great deal. That restaurant.
any brands out there that want to do a video, I will pay you to make a video for you. This is a good deal.
Make more videos than you originally wanted to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. Come, lukegoodall.com.
Yeah,
Reach out.
Nike, if you're listening, McDonald's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come at me.
You will bankrupt Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a good lesson early on in the kind of career about
triple,
shit's gonna
quadruple check. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's a tough lesson to learn as well, but I cannot stress the importance of that kind of stuff to anyone that's starting out. Like, oh my god, there's so many times where I've just doing this podcast, I'm like, fuck, is this recording?
Oh yeah.
And I'll
is it recording?
Check.
We have talked about.
I genuinely just looked at it to see if it was recording there.
Before we started recording, I talked about being on 2 podcasts that we got to the end and they didn't record. So this is a common thread for me.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get.
Oh wow. So it's you, Luke. Yeah.
It is me.
Oh my god. Please leave my house.
It's my static energy. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Chaotic energy.
Oh, no. It's the worst.
Bringing it in. But and there's nothing more disheartening than when you finally watch that footage and you're like, it's the VLC media player, right? Like, we'll try QuickTime.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe it's the cable, and you're just trying to find every.
We compress it through the handbrake. We compress through compressor. We're like, no, it's on the card.
Yep.
And then, it wasn't on the card.
It's just fucked.
Yeah.
It's awful. Sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, it happened, and now fool me once, shame on you. Like, not going to happen again.
Fool me twice. Sorry, McDonald's. I'll reshoot this for you.
Exactly.
To my own personal loss.
Absolutely. At the very least, we got pizza 2 weeks in a row, so they
nice.
They catered.
Oh, see now. I'm such a proponent of not having pizza for meals on set.
It is the worst idea.
It is consistently, if you need to be on camera, you will feel so greasy and tired, and everyone else gets that massive carb crash afterwards as well, where everyone's so gassy and everyone's so tired. We're like, I just don't really want to work anymore.
Yeah.
But if it's at a pizza restaurant,
we had no choice. Yeah. But all my early sets were pizzas and Subway, and
Subway.
It's disrespectful.
Look, it is what it is. It's a pricing and convenience thing.
It is true.
But at the same time, please stop giving me Subway wraps and pizza, Domino's pizza.
Shout out to Subway and
Subway and Domino's. Yeah. If you want Goodall and Gallagher to lose money making things for you, give them a call now.
Call now.
But it's the classic student short film thing as well, where you're like, I got 4 pizzas for a 20-person crew, and you're like, can you get 20 pizzas for a 20-person crew since we're working 12 hours today and we've already gone over wrap time by 3 hours?
Going over the wrap times. What a nightmare.
Oh, that's when the pizza comes out. We're like, all right, guys, we need to shoot this. Everyone happy with sticking around for a few extra hours? We'll get you meals. And it's always just the lowest quality margarita pizza.
Absolutely. It is McCain's frozen pizza.
Oh, and it's always never enough as well.
Oh, never enough.
And then you're like, are there any more snacks? And like, no, we only budgeted for a few hours, sorry. Hello. Now, before we get into our next story, I've got to tell you the main reason why I'm able to fumble through my awkward and embarrassing day-to-day occasions. Coffee. Now, fortunately for myself and all of the listeners, we have paired with one of Melbourne's best coffee companies, Coffee on Q, a coffee worth talking about. Get ready to caffeinate yourself through your next awkward moment with Coffee on Q's signature Elevate blend. Crafted in-house with precision, each sip delivers delightful flavour notes of strawberry, chocolate and marmalade. And here's the deal you won't want to miss. Coffee on Q is offering an exclusive discount to all our listeners. Simply use the code WBFT15 at checkout to enjoy an incredible 15% off all coffee purchases. That's right, WBFT15 is a key to savings, making sure you're properly awake to remember your next big embarrassing moment. Now, this code is valid for all coffee products, so make sure you stock up on your favorites. And the best part? You can use the code WBFT15 as many times as you like. So don't miss out on the opportunity to enjoy the finest coffee Melbourne has to offer. Simply visit Coffee on Q, and that's QCUE.com.au, and enter the discount code WBFT15 at checkout to unlock 15% off your next coffee order. That's WBFT15 at coffeeonq.com.au. Coffee on Q, where awkward moments pair perfectly with your daily cup. But yes, this isn't me complaining about all my previous work, or all my previous jobs, I should say. So have you had any more advertisements where you've fucked up then, or have you been pretty good after that?
I'm sure I have, but I think nothing comes to mind. It's been. I think I did all my screw-ups early in my career.
Yeah, nice. I've had a lot of people saying that's when a lot of their fuck-ups come about. I think the only person maybe that was saying that they've not fucked up, had all their embarrassing stuff happen in their successful part of the career is a friend of the show, Rose Flanagan, who is saying... Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah. She was so, like, professional when she started out, and then relaxed, and it was like, all right, this is when everything starts fucking up.
Just done the inverse.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas
but now she's killing it, so that's working for her.
She's doing too well. If you could please stop, Rose. Like, leave. Not that we're going for the same roles, presumably, but leave some roles for the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Oh, unbelievably talented, and doing so well as well. But I found, I'm fuck up at the start of my career, fuck up where I am in my career just now. So I'm keeping it consistent.
As a stunty, you don't want to fuck up at all.
Well, it's funny because sometimes
tell me about that.
If you fuck up, you're like, I say this was a choice and I meant to fall over.
Smart.
But
I do that when I'm like trip over in the street. You're like, I'm going to start jogging now.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
the classic thing where you trip and you're like, I'll pretend I was doing a funny little step up the curb instead, and you're like, no, I just tripped over.
Yeah. So you could probably make that work. I can't.
Okay.
I'm not a trained stunty.
Well, as for stunts, you don't want to fuck up and accidentally eat a punch or punch someone else, God forbid, or miss your timing and run someone over with a car or something like that. So it is terrifying in that respect.
Yeah.
But then also sometimes, like, if you're just running and you slip in some mud and like eat shit, they're like, yeah, I like that. Do that next time. You're like, it hurt, but cool. I'm glad I didn't get in trouble. And then sometimes you can get paid more as well.
There you go.
Yeah, in stunts you get paid loading for the bigger stunts that you do, so it's a little extra money they give you. So
there you go.
Any prospective stunties out there?
Did you ever work on Wentworth at all?
I didn't know. That was a little bit before my time, before I was a graded stunty. But I've had friends that worked on there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Jumped off the roof of buildings and set on fire and all that kind of stuff.
I was their behind the scenes guy. My first job in the industry was doing behind the scenes at that show, which was wild.
Yeah.
Because there's prison fights.
Yeah.
There's car crashes, cars driving into rivers, like
stabbing people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the stunties on that got to do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's so nice as well, because most of the time, like the Australian TV shows, they're not that stunt heavy, to be honest with you. Yeah, so a lot of the time you're just kind of there as crowd control too. If it's like a big scene, you're just keeping the extras back from the main characters.
the poor stunty on the followers, because we did have a scene where we were burning an effigy of Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, of course, as you do.
So we did have to have stunties on there, but then there was also, we had a prop gun. So it's a gun that doesn't shoot, has no trigger, nothing. It's literally just a plank of wood and metal that looks like a gun.
Yeah.
But because it's a replica, you have to have a stunty on set supervising. And I just felt so bad for the stunty who would do all this cool shit day to day, like driving cars and punching people, and he just had to watch me and Mark walking with a fake gun. Like,
you know what? Some days those days are appreciated. You're like, I'm not gonna come home and be fucking cooked for the next few days from being like kicked over or down some stairs or something like that. You don't want to do every day like that, just watching people walk with a plank of wood.
Yep.
But certain days you're like, an easy week is nice.
I get it. I can relate.
Yeah. But it's a weird industry, the stunt stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think where I am with it, I'm just perpetually getting beaten up by more attractive people. So I'm not quite at the higher stages.
You don't look
yet.
like your head's shot anymore because you're just bruised and battered.
I know,
That's
and
the
that's
problem.
the thing with the mainline actors. Sometimes they're not the best at stopping their punches. I worked on this one TV show. I won't name the TV show. I was wearing a cap on it, and I had to get beaten up by the main actor. And I'm so happy I had the cap because every time he kept punching the cap.
Oh my God,
So
that
his
was your
hand
buffer.
it'd stop before my face.
Yep.
But I was like, if that cap wasn't there, he'd just be punching me in the face each time.
Yep.
So please, any stunties out there, try and get caps as part of your costume if you're worried about your face.
Absolutely. I got punched in the face.
Oh my God. On or offset?
It was a rehearsal. So I work on, I'm a co-producer on a show called Best on Ground, which is a Fox Footy TV show with a few AFL stars, Jonathan Brown and Nathan Buckley. And Jonathan Brown is the friendliest, best bloke you'll ever meet. He used to play for a team called the Brisbane Lions. Now he's in the media. We love him. He's a man mountain. He was known to be one of the toughest footballers to ever play.
Yeah,
and
nice.
we come up with this idea where I was going to come up from behind the couch live and he was going to pretend to hit me. And we did a quick rehearsal.
Okay.
He was like, it was at half pace and just clocks me.
Okay, so a man mountain renowned for being one of the toughest AFL players.
Yes.
That's who you want punching you in the face.
Absolutely, yeah.
How did your face turn out afterwards?
No, well, it was a surprise this is what my face normally looks like. So this was before and after.
Oh, beautiful.
It was
Luke
only
is-
it was a little clip, but
Yeah.
it was enough for me to be like, no, let's not do this.
Yeah, maybe we can get someone else to do this
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just cut it entirely.
Exactly. And I was also thinking about my first story. Were they just getting me to make Jonathan Brown look bigger?
Where was this Byron Bay woman there?
Where was she for my sake?
She should just be your advocate now.
I know.
Being like, no, you're
Yeah.
not having him in the shot to make this person look bigger. How dare you?
It's insane. Anyway, so
Yeah.
it is, you must get hit a lot. And there's got to be an extra invoice. You can I got hit like 4 times. I'm adding an extra.
That's what
An extra-
loading is a lot of the time as
It
well.
is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, look, we'll pay a little bit extra because you got beaten up by this insanely famous, handsome man.
Yeah, wow.
And he's just like, oh, they're always nice about it for the most part as well.
Yeah,
I was like,
wow.
I'm so sorry. And you're like, yeah, it's fine, Matt. It's fine. I had one other one where another actor was just perpetually, he was meant to kick me in the chest, but he couldn't get his leg up high enough. So just crotch every single time in the crotch.
Every single time? How many takes
time.
are we doing?
We did about 8. And then when the close-up came for his action, director was like, I don't like this, let's change it. So I was like, it's been getting kicked in the crotch for nothing.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was so obvious where his foot landed every time because we were doing it on dirt. So I just had a big muddy footprint in my crotch each time. And then he was like, oh, sorry, man, might have been a bit low with that kick. And I was like,
8 times.
every kick.
8
so
times.
often.
I think, this is fucked.
Unless they meant to do it, which
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I mean, it was so nice as well. I feel like he wouldn't have, but that's a fucking good power play, honestly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah,
Wow.
he was Irish, so maybe it's just like
The Irish and the
fuck
Scottish.
this.
Is there a thing between the Irish and the Scottish? Is there?
Not as much as the English with
Right.
everyone, but like we do have our. It's like brother and sister kind of a thing. Whereas it's a deep resounding hatred for the English.
Yep.
So it's not quite as friendly. But
Hilarious.
Yeah. Sorry. So we'll move back onto your stories.
Okay.
Unless you have been kicked in the crotch by any famous Irish people as well.
Not that I can remember.
Bono
no.
hasn't come at you yet. No.
Ed Sheeran. Is Ed Sheeran Irish?
I
Yeah.
think he's English.
English. He's English.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
just
God.
red-haired.
Jeez, that's inappropriate of me
Yeah.
to assume he's Irish.
Ed Sheeran Army, come after Luke. We'll give out his address
Shout
at the
out
end
to
again.
Ed Sheeran, Yeah.
But yes, sorry, if we haven't been kicked in the crotch by anyone as well, it doesn't have to be Irish.
I tell you what, I do have a somewhat crotch adjacent story to segue into.
That's a fun little phrase,
Yeah.
crotch adjacent. I love it. But yes, I would love to hear this.
How are we going for time? We got time for one more, or
I reckon we have a couple more in us. Yeah.
all right, here we go. Strap yourselves in. This is a weird one.
Yeah.
this,
fuck,
is a story I haven't told for a very long time.
I say this to all the guests before the podcast as well. You don't have to tell it,
I feel like I need to.
but you do now. Yes.
Yeah, I do need to. I've built it up too much now. So this is, again, they're all back in the early days.
Yes.
This was, I was doing a comedy skit. I was asked to act in this comedy skit.
Nice.
With a person who's been on this show. I'm not going to name any names just because
Okay.
I don't want people to then search it and then find the other person.
Okay.
Your guest was not the culprit, don't worry.
okay.
They had managed to wrangle together a really big cameo, or two or three really big cameos
nice.
for this comedy skit, and for some reason asked me to also be a part of it and to lead it. And I had no idea what I was doing, and I was quite excited about working with this person. I'm not going to name any names.
So I presume we're not saying the cameos names as well.
No, because then you can find out what it is and then look at it and be like, oh, it was that one that did that weird thing. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
But let's just say, okay, well, I could tease, it's an Australian comedy, I'd say Australian comedy icon.
Yeah, nice.
In the main role. And then supporting was, I'd say, second tier Australian comedy royalty, like very good.
Nice.
And it was a man and a woman in the other roles, and then me just doing my thing. Anyway, I had such a great time. But then at some point you do realise that the woman comedian, who is fantastic, by the way, very funny, she may or may not be a functioning alcoholic.
Okay, well, I think we all know who this is now. And we're not naming any names.
I'm not naming any names.
But
it's probably one of three people.
Yeah, to go back to our 5G and lockdown people, do your own research and you can probably work it out.
Very funny. And very good actor.
Yep.
And nailed it. But it was the car ride home that got a bit weird.
Oh, okay.
So
we were carpooling together?
Yeah, so I'm getting a lift home.
Yep.
With the person who created the skit.
Yep.
The skit went well. I had a good time.
Great.
And then I'm sitting in the back seat alongside this other comedian. It's about a 20-minute drive.
Okay.
And about halfway through the drive, I start feeling pants feel a bit wet. And then I'm touching them. Oh, the seat kind of feels a bit wet. And I'm like, it didn't feel wet when I got in. And then I'm like, that's interesting. And then I kind of look down at the seat and there's a bag in the middle.
Okay.
It's the comedian's bag. And I'm like, that's interesting. Why is my seat now wet? And they are just talking. Everyone's kind of talking.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone into my shell a little bit in the backseat of this car being like, what's happening here?
Is this a prank? Is this...
What is going on? And I just go to my mate in the front. I'm like, hey, you spill anything in the back here?
Yeah.
And no. I'm like, I'm looking around for a water bottle or something.
Are your seats usually moist?
Yeah. I think she's pissing.
Oh my God.
I think, and I'm not sure if she's aware that she's pissing. I don't know if she's purposely pissing.
Yeah.
But
what a fucking power play. You're doing it on purpose.
I think she might be pissing, and I think it's seeping onto my side of the seat.
Yeah.
The bag's in the middle. I can't really see. I think it looks a little bit darker. I'm not sure what's going on. And I'm pretty sure a famous Australian comedian is pissing on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a great claim to fame for yourself. Honestly.
I appreciate that.
But what do you say in that situation?
You say absolutely nothing. Then you get out of the car and you look down at your cream chinos.
Oh, no, the worst colour of pants to be wearing.
And all of a sudden I'm like, well, now I look like I've pissed myself.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm just getting out and I'm walking. I'm like, I am wet. And I'm like, did I piss myself? No, I didn't piss myself. I would have known if I pissed myself.
What a power play from this comedian as well.
Absolutely.
Pissing on you and then making you second guess if you have pissed your own pants.
Genius.
Yeah.
Absolute next level.
Maybe she did it on purpose.
I wish she may have.
Maybe that's the comedy part.
That was it.
Yeah.
The skit never aired. No. So I get upstairs and I chucked my pants out. I didn't even want to, because I could wash them.
Yep.
But then I'd just know. I'd know.
Yeah, you'd always, every time you see those cream chinos, you're like, that very famous
the now
pissed on them.
off-white cream chinos.
You could sell them. You'd be like, so-and-so's
That's
piss.
true.
You could auction them off.
That is true.
Yeah.
So I'm
sure there's some weirdos out there that buy them.
That was something else.
Did you message your friend afterwards?
I haven't said a word until, I've told my very close friends.
Yep, okay.
But no, they don't know. They do not know.
God.
They may listen to this and they may be putting two and two, or it was number ones.
Yeah.
Number one and two together.
Yeah.
And
hopefully not number two together.
Yeah, well, that's a different car ride home.
Well, it might be
it's a story for another day.
Car ride. But that, the person driving the car, your friend, must have known something happened back there.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because when they get home and everyone else is out of the car, I don't know, they didn't have anything in the back. Okay. Maybe they didn't check.
Oh,
it's a mystery to this day.
Because fresh piss, not great. but not the worst thing in the world.
But
Dried piss.
yeah.
From days later, cooking in the back of your car, which if you catch it on an Australian summer, has just been frying in the back seat.
Absolutely. And it was probably 80% alcohol as well. That
At least it evaporated quickly.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So it cleaned the chinos, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But that is fucked.
Yeah. No, it is.
And it's so unfortunate. I feel bad for everyone involved in that story as well.
That's the thing. Yeah, and that's, I'd never want it, it's a potential medical problem that I'm unaware of. It's not something you can control, so yeah.
And you know what? I have got one step closer to and I don't know if you've listened to any of the other podcasts where I've mentioned this, I really want to find someone who has shit their pants during a performance or during work or anything like that as well. So we just came one step closer.
I have, but just not on set.
Somebody has pissed your pants, and I have as well, just not on set as well. But yeah, that is, I mean, I love hearing these stories for the first time in person on these podcasts, because I'm like, I often have to remember to react vocally, because I'm just sitting here sometimes.
You're sitting there in shock.
Mouth agape, just being like, what the fuck am I listening to? What is this? And it's for all you new starters out there as well, all you comedians, all you actors, anyone getting into this. Heads up, you might get pissed off by someone famous, more famous than you.
On, yeah.
Yeah.
It's now become a kink of mine.
Yeah,
actually.
Exactly. So I will give out Luke's address again at the end of this. So if you do want to piss on him,
if anyone's busting,
do have to be higher up than him on the IMDb credits page.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, but he will accept you urinating on him. You just have to bring him a pair of cream chinos.
Yeah, it got too expensive siphoning through them so much.
I know, right?
Come piss on me.
Yeah.
LukeGoodall.com.
So do we have one last story to bring us home with then in that case? Or
I think that's probably the most fucked one. I do have another quick little one if we want one more.
Well, it's up to yourself. We can leave it with the piss story.
What we can do, I'm going to say it.
Yep.
And then if you're in the edit, you're like, you know what? That story didn't live up.
Yeah.
Cut this story.
I'll cut it out. And
if it lives up,
yeah,
it lives up.
And then if there's nothing after this point where we're talking just now and it's just a big long beep, DM me $5 on PayPal, I'll send you the story. No.
Exactly. Absolutely.
But I would love to hear it to finish us off with.
Who
else pissed on you?
It's you're not far off.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, Jesus. All right.
So film festivals, right? We talked a little before we started recording. We talked about film festivals.
Yes.
Talked about going to film festivals and sitting in crowds, and sometimes sitting through film festivals where you're like, what am I doing here? What is on screen? What is happening?
I have to say, I think a lot, I don't know about yourself, earlier in your career, you go along to a lot more film festivals, which you're excited to be a part of, but maybe don't want to be there. Let's put it kindly like
you're there because you're showing a film.
Yes. That's it.
And you're here to see the reaction for your film, and you got to sit through others.
Yes, and we're not talking about your MIFs or your St Kilda Film Festival.
Not at all.
Or your Sydney Web Festival.
I love the Web Festival stuff. Yep. Yeah, that's all awesome.
We're talking about
someone's garage.
Weird, introverted art house madman that's created a film festival.
Yep.
Put it on in, I don't know, a 20-seat venue in the middle of nowhere, which kind of doesn't really have a projector. So they're just like, they've rented a projector for $4 and it's the strangest human beings.
It takes me back to so many different times. But this...
Oh, yes.
This was a little... Same feeling of what am I doing here?
Yep.
Different setup, though.
Okay.
So the Loop Bar in Melbourne.
Yes.
Nice little venue. We love it.
It is a beautiful venue.
It is a beautiful venue.
But we'll play anything.
It will play, and as we're about to find out, anything. Yes. So, well, first of all, the film one.
Yep.
Normal. It was a friend of mine who directed a short film documentary about a male sex worker.
Oh, awesome.
A story you don't really see that much.
No, not at all.
It was fascinating.
Yeah.
And it was a great story. It was shot really well and done really well.
Yep.
And anyway, we have to have a drink after the movie and everyone's having a chat. And then the director goes, now, if anyone wants to stay for the other movie,
ooh,
we're watching that in 10. So me and my housemate, who I dragged along, by the way.
Of course.
We're kind of like, do you want to go see the other movie? And they, the way they said it in hindsight, I should have known.
Yep.
But I didn't really know. So it's a pretty tiny, what you said, 20 seats probably.
It's actually very small. Yeah, it's a lovely venue.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this wasn't Luke Bar that I was talking about
Oh,
before.
hell no. You're talking about the Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, for sure.
Film
Yeah.
festival.
In somebody's garage. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Luke Bar is a very small, intimate venue.
Intimate.
Yes.
Is the key word there. And the only seats that were left were the two at the very front. So I'm literally like I'm sitting closer to the screen than I am to you right now.
Okay,
basically.
so we're about 5 feet apart just now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
you're front and center, eyeballs touching the screen.
eyeballs touching the screen, and I'm, you're squeezed in like sardines. Like me and my housemate are, we're touching the person next to me, who I don't know.
Oh, of course.
We're squeezed in, and then the film starts playing, and I should have known it was a porno.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was a porn.
You have piqued my interest.
Yes. And I mean, I haven't watched porn on a big screen with 20 people before.
I don't think I have either, which, saying that out loud now, sounds like a travesty.
Exactly.
I'm a bit upset that I haven't.
And I also haven't watched it sitting right next to the stars of the porno.
Oh my God.
Because I look up, obviously, the camera wasn't on his face the whole time, but eventually when it got to it, I'm like, that's the guy that's sitting next to me.
Oh, wow.
And then I look over, and that's the girl. I'm like, yep, she looked like a headshot.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a positive first off.
I'm not going to say
would be happy.
There's a really bad joke that I'm not going to say, but you can make up your own joke there.
Okay.
So when you go to film festivals and you are watching your own film, like we talked about before,
Yep.
it's a really nerve-wracking experience.
Oh my God, I hate it.
And it's like, it's a very, and I'm now thinking that.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, this person next to me who's watching their art.
Yep. I thought you were going to say arse there, but both, I suppose. Yeah, that's apt.
Well played.
Yeah.
Obviously isn't even really thinking about what I'm thinking, but I'm now thinking like, they're like, obviously I need to react to be like, this is like, and I'm kind of sitting there like, yeah, interesting. Yeah, great. Oh, that's, like really like trying to make it look like I'm really into the film.
Yeah, right.
Just to give them some sense of like, what they're doing on screen is working.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not.
Now,
I'm not.
With this, like,
hang on.
No, oh, okay.
Hang on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, continue,
No.
please.
I thought you were going to ask.
Oh, I was going to say, so I've had a few comedy short films I've done, and they've gone into film festivals. And with comedy, you're always wanting laughs. So, like, at the jokes, if they're not landing, you're like, fuck. But then when people are laughing, you're like, audience feedback. That's how I know they're enjoying it.
Exactly.
Drama, you want people that are there intensely listening. That's silence in the room. Pornos.
Well, that's what I'm going through, man. I'm like, what do I do?
How do you react?
How do I react?
I know how you react to pornos if you're enjoying them. Generally.
How do you react?
Well, look, let me give you a little bit of a talk about the birds and the bees.
This is the first porno I'd ever seen, I swear.
Yeah. It goes in where? What?
What the hell? And it was hardcore. They were not holding anything back.
Until the end, and then they release. Yeah, I'm so sorry for that joke, everyone.
I got to see the early release of the film.
Did you?
Yeah.
In person.
Oh, yes. All over something.
Yeah.
But it was just a very interesting, awkward situation where I think I made it more awkward because I knew what they would be going through from an artist perspective. And I was just like, yeah, this is a good film. Yeah, good on you. And I was really like, yeah, good work. After they finished, I was like, that was great. That was a great film. Yeah. And I was kind of just overcompensating to make them feel. And they were probably like, fuck, there's that weird guy at the front. He was a sicko.
Maybe they were super into it as
Maybe
well.
They were.
Do you think it was a profession, or was it like a home movie style thing? Or
no, it was like that was a high quality.
Yeah,
it was a high quality porno.
Good on them.
Yeah, but I was also thinking like, if I, like you said before, if you don't laugh, like it's not funny. If I don't get erect.
Yeah.
It's not a good point. And I'm just sitting there thinking, and I'm not, by the way, just so you know, for the listeners at home.
Just now, he's crossing his fingers.
It wasn't even a semi, I swear.
Yeah.
It didn't move. It didn't move. I was in my own head.
Oh, I could not think of a more awkward place to try and get one,
My housemate, I reckon he barred up a little bit.
Throw them under the bus. Who is it? Name them and shame them. No shaming, obviously.
You know who you are, you sicko. But it was just, I was like, yeah, I mean, like, how do you respond? Because, I mean, I've watched porn before.
Yeah.
not in the presence of the actor and actress.
No.
And it was just a very interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
I also find it's kind of funny sometimes when you're like, oh, I'm meeting you for the first time. I've seen you naked before I've met you in person.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
such a weird.
Yeah.
No, it's not weird, I suppose. It's one of the things. Even working in the in the industry we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, I did a TV commercial once, and then literally a day later, I started watching a Netflix show where the person I was in the TV commercial with was naked in the opening scene.
Okay.
I did not know that, and I was just like, I want to tell him I enjoy this TV show, but then also that means that
You're a pervert.
I know, right?
You're a
That's
sick
it.
motherfucker.
And they weren't naked for any more of the TV show. It was just the opening scene. But I was like, hey, I saw you in this. Great work.
You should be like, hey, I watched your show. I come in a bit late.
Yeah. So I started at episode 2 for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mixed up, but I'm sure it's all great.
Yeah, I don't know how to find episode 1 either. For some reason, it's not on my Netflix. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It's on Pornhub.com.
And I watched it a lot of times there.
So if you do want to see this porno, I will link it on the Instagram.
In the show notes. That will be the top billing on the show notes.
You know what? There was a lot of there was a lot more fluorescent paint than I expected.
Oh, okay.
It was very arty.
Was it an art? I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
To be honest, if it is possible, it was more tasteful than your typical whatever it is that you sickos watch.
Typical student short film.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for all this to get cut out completely.
No, I'm very excited to air this and see the porno.
Yeah,
No.
I'll see if I can get it. And they were great. And they were great. And if you do need someone to act in a porno, then I would recommend these two actors. They were really believable.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow, it's hard to fake it when the camera catches so much authenticity.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
and
true.
Buttholes and
we started with buttholes. Yeah. We're ending with buttholes.
It has come full circle.
There you go. Quite literally, full circle. Or starfish. And we are...
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is the absolute perfect note to end it on in that case, Luke. Thank you so much for coming on.
I had the funnest time. This was so... You have a great podcast. I really appreciate you having me on.
I did ask Luke to say that before we started recording, but thank you anyway.
That is also true.
Damn it. Where can people find you? So, as I've mentioned as well, the Followers is out now on youtube.com if anyone's ever heard of that.
Yeah, it's this website that I think Google own. It's a search
I think they
engine
own
as well.
every single website, though, because that's the only way I find websites is through google.com.
That is true. You can find us at Goodall and Gallagher at YouTube, Instagram.
Yeah.
You can follow me, you can DM me, and I can link you to stuff if you want to check out whatever, or check out TikTok. We're on all those places.
Yeah, it's all going to be linked in the show notes as well, so if people can't be bothered.
Would love to hear what you think.
Yeah, and then yourself as well. People find you on your own personal Instagram
too? Luke Goodall. Have a look on there. LukeGoodall.com has a bit of my branded stuff that I've done. A few other things. If you want to check out the South Yarra thing I did, it's on there.
Oh my God, is it actually?
It is on there.
Is there angry women in the background of any?
Unfortunately, not. But I do. You know what? I wonder if it's been a while now. But I wonder if I could reach out to the director and. I just don't know if they buttoned off too early or whatnot.
Okay.
Gee, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
So it was rolling when that happened.
I don't know whether or that's definitely the first, you'll hear her.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know if you see her. It would have been so good.
My God.
But anyway.
That's when you hope the camera operator's just like, I'm just going to press record just in case.
Exactly. Worst case scenario, I'll just walk down Chapel Street and shoot something else. I'm sure we'll run into someone else.
Low angle next to a big building. She's still down there to this day shouting at people. She's
Absolutely.
Still weirdly being progressive and digressive at the same time. Yeah.
What's with that?
Yeah.
Very weird. Thanks for having me on. This is
oxymoron. Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much for coming on as well.
Thank you.
And then the same as every week, you can find Won't Be Forgetting That Pod across most of the socials. You find myself, Seb Muirhead, on Instagram and YouTube. With these kind of things, word of mouth is massive. I think, genuinely, it is what helps grow podcasts so much. So if you can tell a friend if you did enjoy this, please do obviously subscribe, rate and review everything in your podcast listener of choice too. And yeah, I think we're going to have to probably leave it there, Luke, but thank you so much for coming on again, mate.
Word of mouth so you don't get punched in the mouth again.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Fucking hire this guy as a writer, everyone.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.